and welcome to another episode of Disqualified. I am your NXT predictions champion, Trevin, joined as always by our main roster predictions champion, Caleb.
Two-time.
And our editor-in-chief, Zach, is behind the camera as always.
Beltless Zachary.
Editor. I'm the producer. Gordon's the editor.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, but we're
Cameraman,
here to talk
yeah.
about Monday Night Raw and the fallout from Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Just big things to get out the way. If you didn't catch Money in the Bank, R-Truth is back.
Yeah.
And bald. He's bullying people with hair.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Get to that later. Seth is your Money in the Bank holder. And
We start the Fatal 4-Ways.
yeah, for King and Queen of the Ring, that the finals will be at Night of Champions. And speaking of Night of Champions, we get addressed by possibly for the last time in this city, like they've been saying, your WWE Undisputed Champion, the GOAT, the Unseen 17, John Cena.
Yeah. And he comes out and he says, look, you want the truth? You can't handle the truth. He said, the truth is you got a gimmick, a comedy hack, his job back.
Because you were keyboard warriors. You were ignorant armchair activists.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's a bar.
Yes, it is a bar. And then Cena says, like, you're just wasting everyone's time on what's supposed to be my retirement tour, not a pity party.
I'm the one leaving. I'm the one going away with this. And
He brings it up, how many dates he has left, and it is 19. 19 dates left in
And
the
after
John
this-
Cena retirement
yep,
tour.
after this episode ends, it's 18.
Yep.
Yep. But, that means he's halfway through. And also he brings up how he's walking away with it. But, he's got to set up a rival. And surprisingly, we hear
We're thinking, who is it going to be?
they're probably setting up the R-Truth run back. Maybe, Cody comes out and claims, I pinned you. I have a right to for that rematch.
And knowing that it is Saudi, I said as a joke, imagine we hear
And all of a sudden,
CM Punk makes his way out to the ring, ladies and gentlemen.
he
He
gets
takes the flag off the mic, and it is classic pipe bomb time. You comfortable, John? I want to
Yep.
make sure you're as comfortable as you can be for this. He said, I'm not here for TKO. I'm not here for the fans.
I'm here to expose the fraud you are.
Yeah, and he says that when it came down to them at the Elimination Chamber, after Seth stomped Punk's face in.
You pulled me in, and the last words I heard before I got put to sleep were, I'm sorry.
Which makes it seem like you don't even want any of this. And then, he comments on how he turned on Cody and turned heel. And he said, this title is turning you into a monster. And he's like, I know what that's like because that title turned me into a monster. And when I came back, I had a list of goals I wanted to achieve. And that was nowhere on that list. But now, to save you, I will have to become a monster to beat the monster to fix everything.
Yep. He's like, I came back for the love of the game to save this place. And for the love of the game, I gotta take you out.
Yep. And Punk wants to do it tonight, of
Yep.
course.
He's like, now listen, you just stated you're halfway done. And it is your retirement tour. You went on that whole rant. So I'm going to give you the pleasure, the dignity, and be a nice guy and let you, as the champion, pick the date.
And this is the closest that we've gotten to babyface Cena pretty much this whole run. And it was Cena walking, like, he smiled. He said, you want to go? You CM Punk? John Cena? Tonight? WWE Championship? He turned around and he said, "Let's do it." And then he said, "Not tonight, though." He said, "If you want this, you're going to have to follow me to Saudi Arabia for Night of Champions."
And this is a heel move of heel moves. Because for those of you not super active in wrestling community internet, you know Punk made a goal to try
Go
to...
suck a blood money covered dick.
Yep.
That's the quote. You're
Yep.
not going to say who it's to. If you know, you know.
You know, but basically CM Punk made it a goal in his career to never work a Saudi show.
Yep. And he's doing it because
Adam Pearce made it official. Of course, the caveat that everyone is saying on the internet is card subject to change, but it's the Cena retirement tour. They're good buds. I think
this deserves SummerSlam night 1 or 2.
not a,
What if Punk just actually doesn't still go and he's like, "No, I'm not going to follow you. You're going to have to follow me for this combat because you seem to want it." And then you get the SummerSlam.
some people are saying that someone takes Punk out and R-Truth fills
I've heard
in.
people say Bronson takes Punk out, Truth fills in. One thing that we are missing out on is Cena versus Rollins one last time.
Well, after Punk whispers off mic, "You're on, let's go." We hear, "Burn it down," and Seth walks out with the briefcase and just stands there menacingly. He's like, "Look, I don't care what world title it is. I just want a world title. And if that means ending your retirement tour, if that means getting to screw you over once again, screw it, I'll do it."
Yeah. And now we move on to our first match.
Which came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere. I don't think it was announced anywhere ahead of time.
Nope.
Styles versus Chad Gable.
Yeah.
And it cooked.
Yeah.
It
No.
cooked.
Both these people are real good in-ring workers. Gable focusing on the more technical, while Styles, having done a lot of time in Japan, can do a bit of both.
Yeah. Styles tried to get Styles Clash early, and Julius prevented it from happening.
Yep, just pulling Gable out. But yeah, no, it was how the match ended was clean. It was Gable try to hit a suplex, got rolled up into the Styles Clash.
No. Here's how it went.
Oh.
So, Chad Gable had the ankle lock on.
Oh, yeah.
And Styles crawls to the ropes. He then gets leverage, takes Chad down, and I think, he's going for the calf crusher. Because that's what it looks like. No, he just picks him up from one leg, up into the Styles Clash, a flash clash, as they called it.
Yup.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Styles
no,
wins.
commentary was like, have we ever seen him hit one that fast? Because holy...
It was quick. I was like, okay, yeah, he's going for the calf crusher.
Nope!
Picked him up. I was like, okay, power bomb, I guess. And nope, Styles Clash. That's
He
the
dead!
match. Yeah, it was that quick.
Yeah.
I mean, the match was like, what? Maybe 8-10 minutes?
Yeah.
The move is over before you could say its name.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, like, that's the quickest I've ever seen it done. And Chad, it's so funny watching Chad work. The first time that he got put in the Styles Class, immediately,
Yep.
and that man said, don't tuck, don't tuck, don't tuck.
Yeah, no. But yeah, no. Also how Chad sold the Flash Clash. He was out.
Yeah. And now we move on to one of two Fatal 4-Way matches tonight. This one being for the women's side of the
Queen of the Ring.
the Queen of the Ring bracket. So we have Roxanne Perez, Kairi Sane, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley.
Getting the loudest pop of the night, as it is Rhea Ripley.
There's actually two pops that happened in tonight that I think maybe one rivaled it and one maybe got close.
Yeah. But this match, another certified banger.
Oh my God. Give me more Fatal 4-Ways.
Yeah.
Just on basic TV.
Just non-stop action too. It like
A lot of the match, Rhea was taken out of the equation.
well, she was the tallest in that ring and not most decorated, but most known powerhouse.
Not most decorated in terms of accolades, yes, but
Yes.
I would say in terms of length of title reign, it's Rhea.
That one.
It's Rhea.
Yeah. So they're like, let's get her out as much as we can.
Yeah,
And they succeeded a little bit.
Roxanne and Liv started to work together halfway through the match, you know? They were like,
Yeah.
no, we can work together. Rhea then gets her second wind, starts taking it to everyone, hits a riptide. 1, 2, pulled out the ring.
Yup.
Raquel Rodriguez pulls Rhea out the ring and sacrifices.
They squabble up.
Yep, squabble up, sacrificing her body. Kairi Sane does an insane elbow to the outside, taking out both women.
Yep. Now there's the person laid out in the ring. So it was Liv that was laid out in the ring.
So Kairi climbs up to the top.
Goes for another insane elbow. 1, 2, Roxanne comes, rolls her up. 1, 2, 3.
And moving on to the semifinals, which remember are one-on-one matches.
Yep. And a reminder with how the bracket is laid out, for the first time in a while, you have a potential of the finalists being from the same brand.
Yep. But Roxanne moves on to the semifinals.
Yeah.
And the next Raw match is Raquel Rodriguez, Ivy Nile,
Asuka, who is returning.
which they spoiled their return,
Lego.
and Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah.
What? Either Asuka or Vaquer have to lose for the other one to win.
Yeah. That's the problem, is that if you look at the 16 women participating in this tournament, it's stacked.
Yeah, it's stacked. I think I'd say the weakest set is the maybe SmackDown set we're getting this week. Niven.
Yeah. Niven, Cargill. I forget the other two.
It's Niven, Cargill, Meechin, I believe.
I think so.
And it's not Julia.
No.
Grace.
No. No, SmackDown. No, because I know the others.
Is it BFAD?
I don't.
Surprise
know.
BFAD?
I don't know, because I know the other SmackDown side is Flair, Bliss, Green.
Look it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the men's representatives that we will see tonight, before we get to the match, I'll just announce it. There's Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio, and Penta. So yeah, we'll see that later on tonight.
It's Nia Jax.
Nia Jax.
Yeah. Oh, and the other SmackDown side is Flair, Bliss, Green, and LeRae.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a stacked card. It's a stacked tournament.
Stacked bracket.
I just think that the women's side of SmackDown is it's lacking mid-card. It's severely lacking mid-card. Like, you're either mixing it up with the top women over there, or you're stuck in the perpetual vortex of Zelina Vega, Secret Service.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of the mid-card division.
Yeah, so your new women's Intercontinental Champion, Becky Lynch,
comes out and is like, I've received many of accolades. I've done a lot of firsts. I've had a lot of successes, She lists all her championships. She reminds us that she's a New York Times best-selling author, and she's like, and now all of that gets added to the hype and prestige of this here championship. And I would be celebrating my butt off if it weren't for that idiot Lyra. Who, you know, she did what she promised she would do. She raised my hand.
But she raised it so hard, it felt like she dislocated my shoulder.
So I asked her to do a nice thing for me and to make sure I don't aggravate a potential injury, to put it around my waist. And then she tries to kill me.
Yeah. And then,
She's like, so I'm asking for the Raw for all you people to get a proper show for her to come back out and raise my hand the proper way.
and say that she's sorry. And Lyra comes out and does not look like she wants to
No,
apologize.
she's like, you got that crazy look in your eyes again. Hey.
It looks like she wants to double down, but before she can even double down, here comes Bailey!
Yeah. And we're like, hey, yo, what the?
Yeah, Bailey is back, taking out the woman that took her out before Mania.
Yep. And Lyra looks confused, being like, it's like, definitely did not know Bailey was coming back. And, you know,
Triple threat match, SummerSlam.
It's gonna cook.
that match would cook, honestly.
Triple threat IC title match.
But what's funny about Bailey's return is that she tried a rose plant on Becky, and we're like, what move is she even going for? And the
No,
comment,
you said what move is she going for? I said she needs to adopt a new finisher because the rose plant does not look good. It's the same thing with the BFT. It don't look good.
no, but yeah, Becky escapes the rose plant. Backs away, trying to keep her eye on her attacker. Bailey backs into Lyra, who they make eye contact, and Becky's like, F this crap, I'm out.
Yep.
She ditches her title even. She's like, I am outnumbered. I am terrified. I have made too many enemies.
I've got to go.
Yeah. And then we get a very, very special vignette.
The goat of all goats.
The goat of all goats.
MVP of World Collide.
Mr. Iguana gets a goddamn vignette package. It is amazing. It is beautiful. It is everything I want.
Some people
You
are.
see, and here's the thing. I figured it out. I figured out my gripes with Joe Hendry winning the TNA title when he had it. They gave a comedy wrestler a title. And not a mid-card title. Mid-card title is fine. A world title. So there are 2 times that I can recall Santino Marella coming close to winning the big one. It was the first 40-man Rumble. And it was him and Alberto Del Rio. Santino hits the Cobra. He's celebrating. He does his trumpet. He goes to pick him up. Pick up Del Rio. Toss him out. Del Rio pivots at the last moment, tossing out Santino. Santino loses the Rumble. But he was final 2. Now, I believe it was the next month. Fast forward, Elimination Chamber. World Heavyweight Championship, Elimination Chamber. It comes down to World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan and Santino Marella. And Santino hits the Cobra. Mind you, at this time, it had never been kicked out of before. No one has ever kicked out of this move. 1, 2, kick out. Whole place elated but shattered at the same time. They thought their GOAT won it. The man that's brought them so much joy over the years. But imagine if he won it. Where do you go from there? The thing is, I don't have to worry about that with Mr. Iguana because I think they're going to keep him strictly comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, he is decorated. He
Yeah.
is the mixed tag champion over at AAA currently.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, Mr. Iguana is so perfect.
Yeah, that's the thing with Joe Hendry, though, is that I can kind of see how he turns the comedy gimmick into a way to be a champion, because the way his concerts come out, it's basically just a musical number doing trash talk. He's making fun of his opponent usually, so it's like,
Yeah, but we've seen that before.
yeah,
I mean, we've seen that with The Rock.
yeah,
We've seen that with Elias,
yep,
who he's currently feuding with.
Yeah.
Tangentially with Trek and other people. It's a weird feud.
yeah,
But speaking of comedy characters and speaking of potential world titles for
Yeah.
said comedy character, R-Truth
yep,
comes back through the crowd and he cuts the most impassioned promo
yep,
I have heard. It, like, legitimately, it is promo of the year. R-Truth comes in and he says, all of your voices were heard. Don't let anyone tell you your voices do not matter.
they heard, they understood,
And I'm back.
because of y'all.
And he goes on to, pour his heart out to the crowd, tell him he loves them and everything.
He's-
And then he says, maybe R-Truth was just a little too funny.
a little too forgiven. That ain't me.
Yeah, and he cuts off his locks.
Yeah, he pulls out his hair, and they pan to some audience cams, and this is gonna sound funky, but the face of every black man in the audience was like, ain't no way.
No, it was a very, very nice. The promo itself was amazing. The statement that he made by cutting his hair was dope. He says, "Look," and as soon as the crowd started chanting "what" after he cut his hair, he said, "Don't you try that with me." He said, "I am the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I am Ron Killens, and I think y'all forgot who I am." And so he then, after saying that he's here to make a statement, leaves back out through the crowd.
He's about to murder someone.
I can't wait
Ron
because he
Killens
can
is
actually
Ron Killens.
still fucking go. And
Yep.
they unleashed the demon.
Cena better run.
He's wearing his black Air Force Ones.
Unleashed the demon. But
Cena better run.
yeah. Now, speaking of running, there is a tournament currently running.
Yeah, nice transition. Dang.
That is the King of the Ring tournament. It's now underway. It is Sami Zayn, Dominic Mysterio, your Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker, and Penta.
Yeah.
Back again with the Gold Ranger outfit, so love it.
Yep. By the way, before we get into the match action, if you did not see on Dom's Twitter, he fulfilled the promise he said a little while ago and visited Eddie's grave with the IC title. Posted a picture of it. A lot of heartfelt comments were tagged in that post. It was a cool moment.
And you know what they did in Arizona? Not even let him hit the three amigos.
No,
He got two.
he got dos.
Third one was just fucking off somewhere else, I guess. But yeah, so this match cooked
Yes, no.
all the way through. Also, we did get a Judgment Day Clubhouse segment before this, and no TV in sight.
No.
Did he take the TV now? Did Carlito come back and take the TV?
Yeah,
It
but
was his console. He took the whole thing.
He took the console, I know that, but the TV now?
yeah. But yeah, this match was all gas, no brakes. An interesting spot that happened, however, was there was basically hit suicide moves on ringside. First it was Sammy hitting a
Arabian Press moonsault.
yep,
And then it was
Penta going for a suicide dive.
Dom then going for a suicide dive. Then
Yep.
Braun got up and did his apron jump thing.
Yep. And people are laid out, The first to get up is Braun, who's like, you know what? People are down. Ooh, wait, I see one getting up. You know what that means. He goes for basically his full lap spear, but all of a sudden he is caught and BFT'd by LA Knight.
He's finally out of the bloodline vortex.
Yeah.
Because there is no bloodline. He's finally done. His chains are free.
But he's crossing the line into Raw because he is, until the draft at least, contractually a SmackDown star. But he's like, nah, I got beef with you. I got beef with everyone in that stupid faction.
Yeah, so it seemingly looks like Knight feuds with Rollins for the time being until the draft.
Yep, but BFT takes out Braun. Penta's still decently laid out, so we got Sammy and Dominic in the ring, who I'm like, ain't no way they're having the IC champion eat a pin. Nope, haluva kick and he eats the pin.
Yep, and Sami Zayn moves on to the second round of the King of the Ring tournament.
Yep.
Now, the men's side this week for SmackDown is
Black, Orton, Knight,
and
and
Hayes. Who's eating that pin?
Ooh.
Knight.
Knight, I feel like Seth's faction might cross the line back.
Knight or Hayes.
I don't think Hayes is eating the pin. I think Orton could eat a pin at this stage in his career.
Orton, I could see eating a pin possibly with some, Hayes Miz shenaniganery.
Yeah. But yeah, that is it for the qualifiers tonight. The other men's side for SmackDown is Cody, Priest, Andrade,
yeah.
and
It's not a bloodline member, I know that. Who is it?
Soul.
no,
Fatu.
it's not.
No. It's not Truth.
No, it's not Truth. I'm
Tom
trying to
Conner.
figure out who it is. Who's on the SmackDown men's roster that's not currently doing anything? Nakamura.
Yeah, that's why we forgot it.
I think it's Nakamura.
It's Nakamura.
Yeah. We know who's eating the pin in that match.
Yeah.
Nakamura's
But yeah.
And then the men's side on Raw is
Rusev. Alrighty, so after the match for us international audience.
wait, we gotta talk about the men's side on Raw.
Oh yeah.
So the men's side on Raw, the last set is Rusev, Sheamus, Bronson Reed, and a mystery man. Now place your bets. Who do you think that mystery man is?
Probably Ilya Dragunov.
I'm thinking it's Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah.
Americano.
Oh, he's been gone for a long time, huh?
Yeah, because of it.
ACL.
ACL tear.
September.
One of the first things we covered on.
Yeah.
One of the first major injuries we covered, yeah.
Yeah. Which we didn't catch it in our Money in the Bank review, but that's our PLE anniversary, technically. Not our full year anniversary,
But
but
that is the first show that we covered.
yeah.
So yeah. Just go show you how much they shift the schedule around on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
That happened in July last year.
Yeah. We are in beginning of June.
Yeah, beginning of June.
But yeah, what I was saying is for the international audience, while everyone else was on commercial break, we cut to a segment where, Sammy's coming back, adrenaline's finally coming down, and we hear loud applause from none other than one Karrion Kross being like, yes, you finally did it. You finally took my advice and became a killer. And Sammy's like, nah, nope, that's not me. Like that was just a match. I'm not the killer you want me to be. And Karrion's like, keep telling yourself that.
I just want them to push Karrion.
We all do.
He has all the things to be a world champion. I just don't. Funnily enough, he has all the things to be a world champion. I just don't see him as a world champion.
Because they haven't given him enough screen time to be that threat.
the story to back it.
The thing with NXT and the reason why it was so good, once again, it's one person running that show. And it was Triple H, who very much is a Karrion Kross guy. And he was running the show at the time. But I don't think they can capture that lightning in the bottle twice. The main reason why Karrion got off to that start is because he came in undefeated.
Yeah.
He came in and they made him undefeated. Now, if they wanted to give him a push and give him that undefeated streak, they could. You know, 1 week feed him enhancement talent, second week feed him enhancement. Then, if you want to, you could shine a light on someone from NXT, have him beat them. Move on to mid-card or lower card talent, mid-card, all the way through. You can build a whole year of Karrion going on a killing spree, because that was his thing, Killer Kross, and that's his original name. You know, he can go on a killing spree and just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
All these people down. But I just, right now, as he's built, without putting anything into him, I see his ceiling, IC champion.
Currently, yeah.
And that's being generous because the IC is the higher ranked of the mid-card titles.
Yeah.
Like, I think he would be a good US champion. But you have to follow up Jacob.
Yeah.
And I would like to see that match happen. Kross versus Jacob. I think that would be a good match.
That would be good. Yeah.
But,
You want to know what wasn't a good match?
oh no, we got one thing to get to
We got one
before we get to our main
And
event.
that match was good. But first, our last segment is the returning Nikki Bella comes out and announces Evolution. She's like, Evolution 2's coming in a month. Some of you might have already seen it on social media, but for those who haven't, now you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, and you know, the first Evolution was amazing, but this second one, oh boy, I mean, when you look at the women's roster and all they've done for this business, we already know it's going to cook. And she starts listing people like Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley,
Stephanie Vaquer.
yep, Julia, and someone's name didn't get mentioned, and that upset him.
Yep, here comes Liv Morgan. She says, look, you want to list off all these women. If you're going to list off the great women of this company, of this roster, my name better be on the top of that list. She has the resume to back it up. She was world champion all of last year. She's a 4-time tag champ, only beat by her current tag team champion partner right now, Raquel Rodriguez, who has 5.
Yep. Yeah, you know, she is the first. She's the first and currently only Crown Jewel Women's Champion.
Yep.
Yep. So
she has a resume.
She has a resume, and Nikki's like, "You're right. I meant no disrespect." And Liv interrupts, being like, "Then why didn't you say it?" And it's like Liv pokes the bear a little, and it's like, "'Cause I think you're jealous, and that's why you're returning. Just like the reason all the other legends return." You're jealous of the success that you couldn't get when you were in your prime.
Yeah, and Liv says you're lucky that I wasn't there in your prime because you wouldn't have been the champion. I would have beat you then too.
Yep.
And this looks very much leading to a match, a tag match. I think we're gonna get the Bella Twins versus Judgment Day for the tag championships.
You think it's main eventing Evolution?
Depends on the card.
Yeah. Because so far this is the only teased match for Evolution. Because you got to remember, we still have Night of Champions and on the same weekend, Saturday Night Main Event to book.
Yep.
So, yeah. And don't forget that while it is in Saudi, they still put women's matches on the Night of Champions cards, hence the Queen of the Ring tournament, and some other matches as well. Like if you look at, you know, King and Queen of the Ring card last year, it included some women's matches. And Saturday Night Main Event, you saw what happened when they forgot about a women's match on last Saturday Night Main Event card. They gotta slot some on there this time.
Yeah. I don't even want to watch this upcoming Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, but now it is time for your main event.
Of the evening, your World Heavyweight Championship match. It is Gunther. Don't worry, I got a timer. I got a watch for you. You'll see why. It is champion Jey Uso taking on Gunther.
Good match.
Great match. It cooked. Honestly, it was one of Jay's better solos matches. It was very technical.
Yes.
It was a counterfest.
Jay had all the momentum in the beginning. He was kicking Gunther's trash. But then he went for a crossbody, and you see, wait, he's grabbing his ribs. And you also realize, wait, Jay still has his shirt on.
Yeah, so Gunther picks that up, notices it, starts working the ribs. Works the ribs over the whole match, and then sleeper. And Jay fights out. We go back to it.
Yep.
They're going back and forth, and forth. Another sleeper.
Yep. Jay does hit a slip. Jay does hit one more sleeper. But, Gunther being a little more, having more technical prowess, gets out, puts in the sleeper, and Jay's fighting, and he just can't fight anymore.
And new World Heavyweight Champion via knockout, Gunther. Now, 3, 2, 1, go.
What the actual F? I get wanting Gunther back, but I've never seen the internet more divided on this result. I mean, I'm all for the Gunther get humbled arc, and I'm all for, acknowledging Gunther's accolades and how good he is in the ring, on the mic, all that. But not only did you hold Jay with this result, you also hold Gunther a little bit. Because you think about, before he lost it to Jay, you had him, losing breath against people that you haven't built up recently, like Otis, Akira Tozawa. And now you see him being toe-to-toe and getting his trash kicked for a good chunk of the match by, in kayfabe, an injured Jey Uso. This is not a good look for Gunther. This is also not a good look for the company as one of your biggest moneymakers. People were excited to see how you book this world champion Jey Uso. You hoe him after 51 days. Now, is it because you think Gunther has no character without a title on him? Because that sounds a lot like a Hogan character. And I've been begging for a Gunther character change. You had the opportunity. You had the story of potential cash-in, potential interference. Maybe a Roman return, people were speculating, as you did hurt his family. A lot. None of that. Jay loses by knockout after, beating Gunther's trash for the majority of the match. It was a decent back and forth, but that's only when Gunther pulled dirty tricks and went for the injury after realizing, oh, my opponent's injured, I'm going to go after that. You claim you're an honorable man, but you see your opponent down, you kick him while he's down. Where's the honor in that?
A minute 54.
Good little.
Okay. My counterpoint to kicking a man while he's down. Every combatant that I have seen in any fighting sport, at the moment they notice an injury, that's my new favorite toy. I'm gonna mess with it. I want to win.
Fair.
It's like poking a bruise on your sibling.
Yeah, exactly. Gunther won clean as a whistle. Clean as a whistle. He put Jay to sleep. Now, Jay can walk out of this saying, hey, I didn't tap. You did. We could get a submission match out of this. I think the main reason why we got this Saturday night's main event is in Atlanta. Home, birthplace of one Bill Goldberg. Saturday night's main event, Goldberg v. Gunther. World Heavyweight Championship match. If they really want to hoe Gunther and humble him,
They're gonna give it.
he loses to Goldberg and then immediate cash in. Because there also was no cash in tonight. I
Yeah.
thought there was going to be a cash in. No cash in. I am fine with this outcome because the moment they announced that it was happening after Money in the Bank, I knew Jay wasn't winning the match. I knew the reign was over then.
Where does Jay go from here?
SmackDown or the tag division. Because him and Jimmy said that they'd be welcome to another run.
Yeah.
Like that, he goes to SmackDown, but SmackDown's crowded with the main roster with the top people currently, and I don't really see Cena fitting Jay in for a one-on-one match.
No.
I guess Jay just tries to go back at it, but with the draft coming soon, I'm sure he's going to SmackDown, and I see a team up with Jimmy, and the Usos are back.
Yeah.
Even though I want them on Raw because Raw needs tag teams, so if
Yes.
they're going to be anywhere, put them on Raw where they
Yes.
need a good, strong tag team.
What's your
His
opinion?
brother comes over to Raw then.
Yeah.
Hey, it could happen.
What's
It's
your
easy
opinion
for
about
him.
that Hogan comment I made?
Oh no, I don't think it's the Hogan-esque character. Yes, he's not Hogan behind the scene because Hogan very much was like, I am going to have a championship.
Yeah.
But Hogan-esque character where he just has championships, yeah, and it's kind of the same with Rhea. But right now, I'm enjoying a title not being on Rhea. It is refreshing. It is
Yes.
nice. She's getting in big matches and losing. It's nice. It's refreshing. It's what should happen every now and then. It's every year when I was a kid, I'd go into the Rumble and I'm rooting on Cena. And if he loses, well, he loses.
That's
It
bad
happens.
to see my goat.
Like, all I want to see is them out there. Like, I don't want them to be an unbelievable, I have to win everything character. Unless they're going on a undefeated streak, they should not be winning everything. They should not. I mean, there are exceptions to the rule, like Roman when he was champion, but that was also a undefeated streak. He only lost in tag matches.
Mm-hmm.
And he never got pinned in those matches. So he was just on the losing team. He never lost. But when it comes to someone like Damian Priest, for example, and Rhea Ripley, when you're not champion, you shouldn't be winning everything. And I'm not knocking them because they can't do anything about creative. But those... you shouldn't win everything.
Yeah.
I guess that's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. But that is it for this episode of Raw. We have a new champ and a bunch of stuff getting set up.
Oh, Ron Killens is back. We saw a Mr. Iguana vignette.
This episode was amazing. I'm a little upset at the ending, though.
It was, honestly, a good episode of Raw.
Yeah.
Like, will I go back and rewatch this episode? No. No. I don't think I'd ever go back and rewatch weekly TV
Yeah.
unless it's NXT back in the day.
Yeah. Like, and we mean like all the way through. Like, there are a couple matches here and there we would go back and watch, but like an entire episode all the way through, nah.
Nah. I don't think I've seen a single main roster episode that I'd watch all the way through again.
Yeah.
There's some manias I won't sit through again.
Yeah. But that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell 3 times so you know the match is over. I am your main roster predictions champion, Caleb. That is your NXT predictions champion, Trevin. That is Beltless Zach. And that is Gordon, our editor-in-chief behind the camera. We will see you next time. Peace.
Bye.